that first game, man, the Cowboys versus Bucks was like that was a very surprising game for me. That might be like
It was.
that is like one of the two probably most shocking games of the week, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't think anybody expected the Cowboys to be that competitive.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, but then, and I think I kind of told you this, like that's not a healthy recipe for success for Tampa Bay. Tom Brady throwing the ball 50 something times is not a recipe for success.
No, I agree with you.
Like they're not gonna win a lot of games him doing that, bro. And the same thing for Dallas.
Yeah, I think he threw almost 60 times. He threw like 58 balls. So I totally agree with you. The thing is like the Bucks offensive line, like watching that game, it's like their offensive line is so good that it's like I saw maybe one time he was even pressured, and I'm just watching it
Yeah.
like he can just do whatever he wants. Like it's not even like if he's gonna get that much time to throw the ball, like that's the key against any Brady team is like you got to pressure him. Otherwise, like he's just gonna absolutely pick you apart, you know. So, but I agree with you. Any team should have a healthy like run pass balance, but I don't know, dude. The Bucks just look phenomenal on all cylinders, which was made it even more impressive that the Cowboys hung in there and almost won that game.
You think they looked like they were on all cylinders?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys have a really good offense. So if anything, maybe their defense wasn't as good, but I don't know. I still take away from that game like I don't see anyone beating the Bucks. Like so, I don't know.
I don't. I think they play that same game plan against like Kansas City. They don't win,
Okay, interesting.
right? I just don't think that you can trust for Tom Brady to be throwing the ball 50 times and it just be a recipe for success,
Yeah, I got you.
right? Like it just in the certain teams, I think like you can get away with that, but there's teams that we know have a much more explosive offense than Dallas does.
Yeah,
Right? Like Kansas City is one of those teams that have a explosive offense. We found out how it's with the Rams and their offense and what they can look like. So, and your boy Jameis over here looking like a superhero. And the granted,
yeah,
I don't know
man.
if that offense is going to look like that every single time. Um, but I don't. They be fantastic. Be able, I know, and I understand. Like Dallas has a really good offense, but I think that was the winkling that at least that I saw from that first game.
Yeah. It was enough for me to put the Cowboys up there. I mean, we'll do power rankings later, but even though they lost, like I was like they gained a lot of respect for me, at least
Yeah,
through week one, because I was shocked. I did think as soon as that field goal was kicked, I was like, that's way too much time for Brady. They're gonna win the
yeah.
game still. But um
Hold my beer.
you can't be like mad at that loss though, if you're the
No, because
Cowboys.
I mean, people expected them to just get blown out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think they definitely kind of, it was like one of those losses where it's, they talk about you can't take a win out of a loss, but I think Dallas kind of took a win out of that loss, knowing like we just competed with the Super Bowl champs
Yeah,
and it was a close ass game, right? So
it was. So do you think it
I
was
think
game script, like you were saying, like and just the way they were playing related to Zeke, or are you worried about Zeke at all? Because I watched that and was like, man, they're not even prioritizing giving this man the ball.
that's the thing. It's like that's just not a recipe for success for you to be throwing the ball 58 times. He just came off an injury and wasn't his shoulder injured.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like are you really putting his longevity into your game plan? Like you just paid him a shit ton of money in very first game after two injuries and one pretty large injury, and you just throw him and he throws the ball 60 damn times.
yeah. It's I totally agree with you. He did look good doing it though. I will say that.
He
Like
looked
actually,
fabulous. He looked great, but like you just like okay, so just Zeke Elliott, just fuck it.
no, I'm totally with you. That's not gonna work, in the long run. It's not gonna work for him either. Like I think he's gonna get frustrated if he's only getting. I don't even know if he got 10 carries that game, man. Like it was
I
very
think that was
minuscule.
about it. It's just I mean, the dude I, he would have to be he has to be upset, bro. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
No, he carried the
I
ball
would.
11 times for 33 yards.
Yeah, not good. Now, I do understand though that the Bucks defensive front is absolutely stacked, so that's kind of like hard to run through, but yeah, that's very disappointing if you're a Zeke fan or if you're Zeke
Like
because
them as an entire team rushed for 60 yards.
yeah, I think
And I
that's going
get
to be a
it.
common trend against Tampa Bay, though, to be honest with you. I mean, oh my God. You just look at that front seven, and it's like,
I mean,
what do you do with that,
it's
man?
very, very like that front seven is no joke.
Like Vea,
But
Sue, Shaq Barrett, JPP, Devin White, Levante David. It's like
yeah,
a little Pro Bowl defense. Like, oh my Lord. I don't know.
I mean, they're stacked, but you got to find ways, whether it's with blocking, bringing extra men in, bringing your heavy package, whatever that is. But like, you got to find a way because you don't understand. Maybe that was just a game plan against that team, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think after that game, you kind of felt. I think people felt a little bit better about like, okay, Dallas is probably going to win the NFC East.
Yeah, as of right now, that's what I would assume. I mean, that's probably their toughest test of the regular season. You know what I mean? And they look pretty good. And it was only week one, so you'd assume they'd only get better. Who knows? It's the Cowboys, though. You know, they seem to always like make people think they're going
Find
to
a
be really
way,
good. So
find a way, find a way to fuck up.
they do, bro. But I think that was a great game. But the game of the week for me was whatchamacallit, Ravens versus Raiders, bro. Down that Monday night, that
Bro,
was
that
insane.
game was a dog ass game.
That was insane, bro. That's already got to be like a game of the year candidate. Like that was wild,
Yeah,
bro.
it was just a crazy game that had a proper like just finish, like just down to the wire type of thing. It was a really, really going to overtime. Like shit, like I honestly did not think I'm like once the Ravens kicked the what was it, kicked the field goal to go up, I'm like, oh well that's game.
Hmm.
But I mean they found a way to get where they needed to be on what was it with like 57 seconds left?
Yeah, but that interception in the end zone, I was like, holy shit, man! Like, and then that seemed like it was over. Like it was like, well, take it back. Right before that interception, they threw that like 30-yard ball, and they thought the game was over. Do you remember that they were all
You're
like
right. Yo,
shaking
yeah,
hands
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff, and then they brought everyone back. Like that was
yeah,
crazy. And then they
yeah,
tried like 3 downs and like couldn't get in. It was like,
yeah.
bro,
It's a dog ass game.
it was,
Dog ass
bro.
game. And wait, so did you hear? So somebody asked Gruden about like Waller had, I want to say like 18 targets,
Yeah.
right? And like somebody started like it was just flat out like he just dropped the ball, bro.
Hmm.
Right? But they asked Gruden like, was that the game plan for him to be getting somebody target? Like, what's the whole thing? They were like, he was like, well, he's the best player I ever coached. Do you know who John Gruden's coach, bro?
I mean, I know he won a Super Bowl, so I don't know who was on that team, but
Bro, he coached Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, Warren Sapp,
damn.
John Lynch, Charles Woodson,
Yeah, okay. That's it.
and Darren Waller is the best player that you've coached.
His coach speak, bro. He probably feels like he's got to say that. I don't know if he believes
But
it.
you can also, as a coach, be a real. I mean, you've coached Hall of Famers and like
Yeah.
iconic NFL players, and you over
Yeah.
here talking about Darren Waller's the best.
I didn't hear that, bro. He looks good though. He did have some drops, I will say that, but like he's gonna put up stats this year. I expect him to be like a top two tight end as far as like statistics go, because I think they're gonna feature him a lot in that passing offense. Like he's gonna continue to get, I'd say, at least like a dozen targets a game. So
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's a
think he had 2 touchdowns. He had a pretty decent game aside from the
he's just
drops.
good, but he just had like some drops where you're like, bro, you got to catch that.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah,
He
but
was
I would give it
scary
to you
looking,
here.
man. He looks like he just got out of prison, bro.
Ooh, now he look like he came out of prison.
What I don't know. He's just big and like the tight's scary, man. I look at him like I wouldn't want to line up against this dude. I don't know.
I
He
can't.
scares me.
I could not. But yeah, that game was it was really good. Um, Lamar did not look as sharp as I wanted him to, which was super frustrating. And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to make an excuse for him, but like he was just missing throws where you're like, he connects that.
Yep.
And I
It
think
was
if he
reminiscent
could,
of last season, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it seemed like last
yeah.
season he was like that the whole time. I don't
And
know.
it's like like I said, I want to root for Lamar so bad, right? But it's just these throws where you're like, he has to develop some type of like touch. I think he's still struggling with the touch on the ball because it's not like he don't have the arm strength,
Yeah.
right? But it's just that toucher with the accuracy where it's like everything don't have to be a speed ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Correct.
think that's what he throws everything with. It's like it just has so much velocity on it. And you're like, take some off and take some of this air out of it. And maybe, you can catch a guy in a stride. But
That's such a good point, bro. And like you can make the same thing from Carr on that interception. You could hear the announcer saying it, and I didn't think about it until he said it, but like that was such an easy like in route for whoever that was, Snead, to catch that ball. And he was like, if you just put a touch pass in there, like that's an easy touchdown. Like you did not have to rocket that ball in there like that, you know? And that's something that's like a whole other aspect that like a casual fan like I like never even thought of before. And I was like, damn, like, yeah, like you got to be able to realize the situation. And like he's just turning his head and like just place it there gently so he can just grab it and
yeah.
go, you know, and not just throw it as hard as you can every single play.
And they just
So,
they want to rocket it into like these windows. And it's like, but you got to give your guy time to react
yeah.
and see
Yep.
the ball.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, receivers have probably some of the best hand-eye coordination, but
Mm-hmm.
like you got to give them a chance to like locate the ball and everything because that ball comes up on them like that, and they got to be
Yep.
ready, bro.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it was disappointing kind of seeing Lamar. I mean, but shit, he is fucking fast, bro.
Yeah. He is, bro.
Like I forget what play it was where he just I don't know how the fuck he got loose, and next thing you know, he's down the field for like 10, 15 yards. It's like
Like watching him run though too, like he can just change angles so quickly. Like it seems
man,
like you know what I mean. Like he goes down when he's ready to go down. It's not like when anyone can really like touch him. You
man,
know,
it's insane, man. And then you think about it, like with Baltimore, they're missing Dobbins,
yep.
like their
That
best
backup looked
runner.
good. Tyson Williams, whatever his name was,
Yeah,
he looked good. But
missing
yeah,
missing Gus. Like they're missing some of their better runners, and they still were super competitive. So
yep.
they got a hell of a task this week with Kansas City. Like they started off, and I think we talked about this. Like they could start the season off like 0-2.
Mm-hmm. Do they play
So we'll
tonight?
see.
Is that tonight's game that they play?
I think so because I think the Packers and the Lions have the Monday night game.
Yeah. Yep. I think you're right. That's gonna be a joke. I feel like the Packers are gonna come out mad. Let's talk about that though, man. Saints versus Packers. Like, who expected that? Like, there's no one can tell you that they expected that, except maybe the Saints.
Yeah.
But
There's only one other game that I think that kind of like took me by surprise outside of this game. And we can talk about it a little bit later, but like Aaron Rodgers looked terrible.
yeah, that was maybe the worst game I've ever seen him play.
He just looked completely disconnected. Then like he could read coverages. He couldn't read where blitz like it. He just looked all out of sorts. And then the defense just looked all out of sorts. Like they were just all. It did not look good, and it
Yeah,
looked like they had a very tumultuous like summer to where like shit just wasn't
yeah,
connected at all
exactly. That's
in
scary
the
for
show.
them, bro. For someone that's like basically a championship or bust team at this point. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that did not look good. And then the Saints, like that formula, like I kind of expected Jameis to throw it more. I didn't expect him to, you know, but they really just stuck with let's run it like 3 out of 4 plays and throw it when we need to, and it worked, you know.
I mean, that first touchdown Jameis threw that was a first in the Drew Brees era since Drew that the ball traveled over 50 yards in the air.
Oh, that one to Dante Johnson or
Yeah.
whatever his name is,
No.
Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was the
Deontay
first
Williams.
time. And even Drew Brees joked about it. He was like, oh, so that's all the offense needed.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, it's crazy. But Jameis was super efficient. And he managed the game, but he still like put his imprint on the game.
yep,
I mean, he
yeah.
looked really, really good.
He did. It's It was shocking, man. Honestly, it was a weird, bizarre stat line. 5
It
touchdowns or
was.
whatever, great percentage, but only threw for like 140 yards or something like that. Uh, and that defense really was like what carried that game, though.
Man, talk about it.
Like
Like,
all over Rodgers. The coverages were great. They were just all over everything. They couldn't play a better game, and that's kind of what's scary. And looking down at my phone right now, they're down 17-0 right now to Carolina. So it was like,
yeah,
oh, nice. But, that was definitely the shock of the week. And I want to hear what your other game was. But for me, it was also like the Bills and Steelers. I was like, what is going on? I did not expect the Steelers to win that game at all, or the Bills to look that
yeah.
out of sorts.
For me, it was that Eagles and Falcons game.
Yeah. I mean, both teams were bad last year, though. So I was kind of just like, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, but for like the 32-6.
Yeah. Right.
And Jalen looked really good. Now, granted,
Matt Ryan looked bad too.
He looked trash. Like he looked like he needed to retire yesterday.
Yeah.
Like they looked terrible, bro.
Right. That was I don't know, man.
And it's just, I mean, we know that the Atlanta defense is not anything to talk about, right? Like they're not that solid. But Jalen Hurts looked like when he was back at Oklahoma.
Yep.
And going up for our Heisman.
Indeed.
Like, dude looked nice. And Devontae Smith, everybody's talking about him being small, but dude balled out.
He really did, bro. He looked really good. They're going to be, I don't think they're like an elite team at all, but it's going to be interesting again to see in that NFC East, like how that all plays out, because they usually all seem to hover around each other, So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if anybody will be able to. I mean, I think that there's one team that's going to break away from the pack. I think we talked about earlier, right? Like it'll be Dallas.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And I don't think when we were kind of giving our predictions, we assumed that like Philly would be at the bottom.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. I think the other game you mentioned, the Bills and Steelers, but for me it was the Titans and the Cardinals. That was another one too. Like,
who is this Chandler Jones, bro? Did you see that? He had like 5 sacks.
Where you been? Yeah. Like, I understand Chandler Jones is nice, but like, bro, we're this.
Yeah, that was
like
crazy.
You showing out.
Yeah,
the Titans have a pretty good offensive line.
I thought so too, man. That was wild, just seeing Derrick Henry be so stagnated, and like, I don't know. We'll do the power rankings later, but Cardinals got my respect, man. I'm not going to put them like at the top, but like at least through week 1, like that was impressive, man. So if they can keep that up, Kyler Murray looked phenomenal. Hopkins looked phenomenal. Their connection's great,
Yeah.
Another player, you were just talking about Lamar. Kyler Murray's so fast, bro. Like when he just takes off, it's like, who's going to bring that dude down? Like,
no, like he's and the thing with him is that he's so shifty.
Yeah.
Right, because he's short. He's like 5'10", but he's so shifty and it's so quick with his move compared to like Lamar. It's just it's flat out speed, right? Mm-hmm. Like he can just dart on you. Where Murray is so just quick in these tight spaces, he can break out of it, and then next you know he's throwing the ball 40, 50 yards down the field in these awkward positions and just lands in the receiver spot, bro.
Yeah,
it has to be that background, that baseball background he has, but it's insane what he can do with the ball.
Yeah. It's got to be so hard with him being so small for like these bigger dudes to even like think about how they're gonna grab him. Like it's I don't know. Like he's so short when you look at him compared to like all those other defensive players. Like it's like, holy shit, bro, you look like a child out there. But he's just so speedy, like you said, changes direction so quick. I don't know, man. They looked really good, and he's got a cannon, an absolute cannon. Like. It's got to be baseball, like you said. It's interesting. It's almost reminiscent of Mahomes, like the ability to just throw from different angles and like at different, speeds, whether it's in the pocket or on the run. Like just that baseball, like kind of sidearming throw. Like it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of sidearm, bro, Stafford, man, he looked like he was in heaven on Sunday night. Like he was like, wow, this is what I've been missing, an actual team.
Life.
Yeah.
Stafford was out here living his best life, and I mean he's having a decent game. 144. He got a TD in the threw an interception, but I mean, they're also playing up against the Colts defense that is really, pretty rock solid. But that offense,
Yeah. Cooper Kupp looks
it's
great, bro. Cooper
man,
Kupp.
him, Robert Woods,
Yeah.
like they Higby, like that team is gonna be scary.
Yeah, it really is. Should we go over this power rankings list you sent me?
Yeah, we can look at the power
Let me
ranking.
see if I can pull this up. We're gonna try something new today on the Catchweight pod. Can you see me?
Yep.
Hey, cool. All right. Well, let's get it. Should we go from the front or like top 10, or how do you want to do it?
Whatever works.
See, right here on the top, we can just kind of go through each one and talk about their games. Like, obviously, Kansas City and the Browns game was also really good.
It
It took kind
was.
of Mahomes and them a little while to kind of get it going. But I kind of think Tampa Bay deserves to be number one over them right now.
I don't know if I can say that. And the reason why I say that is because like you look at who Kansas City played compared to who Tampa played, we would all assume that Cleveland's a better team,
Yeah.
especially on the defensive side. And for Kansas City to come back and beat them, I think I would agree with this. Just based off of week one, I would be comfortable leaving Kansas City with that based off of that fact.
Okay. Do you think what's crazy about that was like it seemed like it was Cleveland's game, and then just like out of like on cue, 75-yard touchdown, Tyreek Hill, and I was like, damn, there it is. Like they just broke it back
And the
open.
crazy thing, let's just be honest, that throw really wasn't that good, bro.
No, it was behind everyone.
It was behind him, but like it worked out because Tyreek was able to make adjust to the ball appropriately. And maybe Mahomes meant to do that. I don't know, but he was able to adjust and just walk right in.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the reason why I would kind of leave my number one, just because of who they beat.
Yeah. Cleveland, man, like they look phenomenal. Like they fell apart at the end. Like there's no way around that. But just everything we had been talking about since last season ended, like amazing line, run game looks great, good receivers, their defense is much improved. It's really, to me, going to come down to Baker, man. Like he's going to be the end all be all for that, offense and that team as a whole, because they still had a chance at the end and he threw that pick, and the game's not all on him, but I don't know. Like I think like it's going to really, they're going to go as he goes.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone has a problem with those top two. This one I don't understand at all. Like I'm not a Seattle hater. I like Seattle, but like number three, Mo.
But who would you put ahead of him?
Dude, the Rams maybe. Even
I could give you the Rams.
Even maybe the Browns, bro. I know they lost, but like that was a lot more impressive of a game to me than what Seattle did.
I mean, but Seattle did what they were supposed to do too.
Yeah, I mean they won for sure, and it was
right?
against the
Like
Colts.
they won.
It's not a bad team.
Yeah, no, they won their game, and
I just don't trust Seattle's defense, bro. I think that's my bottom line. Like I
mean, they held to close to 16 points, and I mean they won by 12. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. I wouldn't disagree with you. I would probably put the Rams over the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like the Seahawks would probably fall at least within my top 5 and no lower than that.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, the Rams are right there, so that's interesting. No real surprise there. I don't get how you can have the Bills as a top 5 power rank team after they just lost. Granted, I know teams lose like in week one, but like again, how I don't know. I don't see.
I feel like you gotta have if you're gonna have a one loss like a one loss team in that top 5 power ranks, it's got to be Cleveland, right?
Yeah, that's what I would say too. And then based on like what we were just talking about, like difficulty of teams, like Buffalo lost to the Steelers, who me and you both thought were going to take a step back this year. I don't think they're a top 5 team. I'm not trying to just be like a fanboy, but like if anything, the Saints would deserve to be above them, being they just beat the 2-time defending NFC champions by like
made
a
them
blowout.
look bad.
You know what I mean? So like,
yeah,
I believe in the Bills and I think they'll turn it around, but like I don't like that listing because they lost and it wasn't to a team that anyone really expected to even make a lot of noise this year. So
yeah, I would definitely probably put Cleveland there instead of the Bills.
Yeah, and there they are. San
Yeah, definitely.
Francisco, it was Detroit, and Detroit kind of came back. They kind of made it an interesting game, but like they're a weird team, bro. Like I don't know how to explain watching them. Like their D looks good. They got some really good receivers. I think Debo Samuel or one of them went off for almost like 200 yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like
He was balling.
Jimmy G, man, I kind of think they should really start considering getting Trey Lance in there sooner than later and like developing him, man. Like I don't think Jimmy G is going to take you to that, point
He
that you're
may
trying to
not,
go.
but Lance still needs some time.
He does. I'm not
He
saying he's
still need
ready.
he still needs some maturation a little bit. There maybe later on in the season, but I think they still have to do what they were doing as far as like getting them in and getting them some snaps, still getting them some game time reps and everything. Um, or just even let him get a chance to where he can run his own series, not fitting them in every other play or something like that, like how like they were doing. Like maybe get them a chance and letting him just trying to run his own series to see how what that looks like. But
Yeah.
they got to figure out something because he's going to need those reps just to get familiar. So yeah, I don't know how comfortable I am with putting San Francisco up this high. I wouldn't mind, putting like the Saints. They have the Steelers just behind that. Um, yeah, I don't know how comfortable I feel with the Niners being up at number 7.
Well, and then like, no offense to, our home, but fuck, it was the Lions, bro. Like, I don't
That
like
that part, like I
what
had
is,
a close game with the Lions.
yeah, like what is that? Doesn't really prove anything to me, you know. If anything, it's kind of shaky.
Like
So
it bodes well for the Lions just because they were able to like fight back and compete with that team. But also that was a team that they were losing guys during the game, like
yeah,
just left and right. They lost Moser. They lost I believe they lost some guy off their O line. Like they were just losing guys
yep.
during the game. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know how long Mostert's out for. Is it like a significant injury?
I'm not sure, but I mean, your boy almost pulled it off. He said you was gonna knock him down. He was gonna take a kneecap and knock him down
Yep.
again and take the other kneecap. He almost did that shit. So
Yeah, not
like,
honestly, like because everyone knows San Francisco was riddled with injuries last year, and they were a Super Bowl team the year before. Like, so everyone knows they're a good team. So if anything, like not a horrible game for the Lions, like they kind of made it competitive, like not a bad start. I still don't expect the Lions to really do anything this year. What's crazy is every team in the NFC North lost, bro. Like they're all 0-1.
yeah. Um, I think the team that was like the most surprising um with the loss, I think had to be Green Bay
Oh yeah, for sure.
by far because of just how bad that they looked. Um,
I didn't watch the Minnesota game. I don't know who they played. Oh, they lost to the
they
Bengals. That's kind of surprising too. Shit,
Yeah,
that's not a good
but
look.
I mean, Burrow and Jamar Chase, like
Yeah.
they look really solid. It's just because they got on them really early, and then the Vikings had to fight back.
Yep.
Um, but man, they like Burrow and Chase look like that's gonna be a nice little combo, bro.
It really does, man. Um, and they were like connecting on the long balls too, It wasn't even just like little short intermediate routes.
Yeah,
Like they clearly have that chemistry. I don't know if the Vikings are just bad or if that's like a really like big sign for the Bengals. I think it was OT that they won in, but
yeah, they did. Um, I mean, me and you both said though that like Vikings will be like right there in like that 6 to 8 range.
yeah.
I think we both kind of commented on that. So them losing to the Bengals is a bit surprising because we didn't know where the Bengals would fall,
Uh-huh.
but also understanding that like we didn't think the Vikings were going to be all that good anyway. Like if anybody was
Exactly.
going to win out of that group based on like who they were playing, I think we might have figured that it could have been the Packers.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, between the Packers, just because of who they have on their team. Like you said, they're championship or bust. But then it probably should have been Minnesota, right? Them playing the Bengals. The other two teams had really good teams that they were playing against, right? They had the Niners and they had, I think Chicago had the Rams. So I think those are expected to lose both of those games.
Gotcha. And then Baltimore's at number 10. You think that's fitting?
I think it's fair. Only other team that I think we could move up would be probably like the Cardinals.
Yeah, they got to be the next team. No, they're how? Okay, see, I don't like that. Yeah, the Cardinals are down at 12 and Green Bay's at 11.
Yeah, see, no, I wouldn't put. I would probably go Cardinals and then maybe like like Green Bay plays so bad. Honestly, they need to be at the bottom of this list.
No, right? Exactly.
And like legitimately, they need to be at the. They need to be. What is it? 32 teams.
Yep.
Right. They honestly need to be last, bro. That's like how bad that they look.
Yep. Yeah, this is wild, dude. Look at it. This is the standings in the AFC so far. Like, it's just teams that you wouldn't expect. Like, only Miami won a game in the East.
Houston,
Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh is the top of
right.
the North.
Like the Texans. Like what? And Tyrod Taylor was balling.
Right. And then every game in the NFC West won.
Right.
That's weird, bro. The Titans really disappointed me, man. Like, I like the Cardinals, so I wasn't like upset really, but like, man, like I really had high hopes for them this year. And it's only 1 week, but
yeah,
they really need to figure something out because that did not look good, man. Offensive line wise, or just their defense as a whole, they just look like in a mess. So
yeah, I mean, then you look at like the NFC West, they all won their games. The NFC South almost put it off, but Atlanta got their butt kicked by the Eagles.
Yeah, you're right. The West won all their games, and the North lost all their games. That's pathetic.
Terrible, bro.
Yeah. Wow. Man, that's like a pretty high winning percentage, though, because most of the teams in the NFC South won their games, too. And then the Eagles and Washington won. But, yeah, I don't know. Did you watch that Giants Washington game the other night, Thursday night?
I did. Or actually, no, I didn't. I don't have NFL number, but I was just kind of following on everything. But I really want to try to figure out, like, what's going on. It just seems like the Redskins defense is not having the same impact that it did a year ago.
No, I agree.
Like, where's that defensive line at?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, where's Chase Young? Where's Montez Sweat? Like these guys they're not producing, bro. Not over these first 2 games.
No, I agree, man. The most shocking thing to me, and I don't want to overreact, but like, I don't know. Saquon had 1 good run, but like, I don't know what his future holds as far as like what he was projected to be coming out of Penn State, bro. Like, people were talking about Saquon like he was like the next like Barry Sanders, bro. Like he was so naturally strong, fast, elusive. Like he's phenomenal, and then like he's had 2 years of injuries now, and like I don't know, man. I just don't know. Like it's whether the team around him so bad that's what makes an impact, but like he's just not like. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he needs to get out of that situation to really like figure it out. But like, as long as he's in New York, I don't know. I'm so unsure of like what he's gonna do on a nightly basis because he's just
Well, then the plus it doesn't help. I mean, it's not like they have like the greatest offensive line either.
No.
You know what I mean? So if they really want to be able to help him be able to produce like he can, they have to improve that offensive line.
Yep.
Like definitely. It's just not, like he's running. I mean, Daniel Jones led the team in rushing yards, and he probably does that almost, he's been doing that probably consistently the last 2 years, but it's because he's running for his life and having to run for first down because that old line is just like, bro.
He needs to develop too, man. Like watching that game, it was kind of annoying because like both those quarterbacks, like Heineke and him, are very mediocre quarterbacks. Like watching it was just such like it wasn't good quarterback.
And I don't mean no harm, but like Washington has not reached out to Cam Newton.
Yeah,
and you would think that like Ron Rivera would call Cam Newton
and
just have at least at the minimum have a conversation with him, bro.
Yeah. Right.
Like I don't, and I know that Heineke helped them win that. Didn't he help them win that game?
Last year.
That playoff game last year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe he has a little bit more trust in him. But like I just have a hard time believing that Heineke is more dynamic and can probably give you more on the offense than Cam Newton. Like I don't know. Maybe I just
I agree, man. I totally
yeah, I
agree.
don't know.
I
Not to mention, he just helps you with the running game. I don't know. Maybe that's not what they want.
Nah, I'm with you, bro. It's it's just bad both ways. Heineke didn't look horrible until the end. He threw a really stupid pick. But Daniel Jones, man, like just watching him play, man, like he can run the ball. That's like the biggest positive I can give him because like
Mm-hmm.
he just if it's not a short pass, he's missing people high, like he's like missing people low. He's just all over the place with that football, man, and like just doing the little shit that I hate, like 3rd and 15, throws a check down for like 3 yards. It's like, what are you doing, man? That's not what you need, Like,
Well, they were so like just glamoring over him or clamoring over him because like didn't he like go to like that Manning camp or whatever, or he worked with some guy that worked with the Mannings, and they thought that he could kind of fall in that line, but it's like he's not them.
yeah, no, he's not. He's definitely
Like
not.
the dude can't even stay on his feet to run for a rushing touchdown because he get the grass monster comes up and clipped him. Like, come
Yeah,
on, man.
that one was
What are we
bad, bro.
talking about?
Yeah.
This shit was embarrassing. Like,
That
like
was
how do you
interesting.
get?
That was
Like,
bad.
come
Wasn't that against the
on, you
Cardinals?
are free, bro. You are home free. You could have walked the rest of the way, and
Yeah.
yet you get.
Yeah, that was bad, bro. And then like, yeah, I don't know. He's just I don't know. I like New York, the Giants just really there's nothing I can really say about him, man. I don't know what Kenny Galladay was thinking going over there. That just does not seem like a good
It
environment
was the
for him to
money
produce.
talking. That's all it was. It was the money talking.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
all it was.
I don't think that's a good environment to suit him for another big contract. So he better hold on to that money that he's getting from this one. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
It's, mm.
I like he's just that's not a good place to be, man. Like it's the inconsistency of Daniel Jones, and then just like you said, that offensive line. Like if I'm a big time receiver, that's not where I'm going, bro. Definitely
Yeah.
not.
Can we just take a quick moment to talk about the fact that what is Carolina doing right now, bro? They
Well,
are putting in work.
yeah. So they're up
17-0.
17-0. And they got the
Like Sam
ball.
Darnold is looking like
Great.
looking like he on a mission, man. And I know it's
Yeah.
first just 2 games, but
Yeah.
he's looking nice. That combo of him and McCaffrey
Could
may
be,
actually
man.
work out.
Could be. What'd you think of Wentz in his first game?
I think he didn't look bad. He honestly
No.
didn't look bad. I mean, you're just playing a team that's just
Way better
better.
circumstances for him, than he was in Philadelphia. I mean, this
Yeah, but I
team,
mean, with 25 for 38, 2 touchdowns, I
yeah.
feel like he did what he had to do, but he's just playing a different team. And that their secondary got exposed. Like
No, it
their
really
front
did.
seven that's a nice ass front seven that they have over in
Yeah.
Indy, but that secondary, like Tyler Lockett, like how wide open he was. I don't know, like it was like what a 60-yard or no 75 yards that Russell threw. Like they that secondary got exposed bad.
I wasn't expecting that. I thought
I,
the Colts were pretty locked down overall as a defense, and they have a
yeah,
great offensive line, probably a top three
right.
line in the league. So I figured, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with this season, but they're down 17-6 right now to the Rams. So it was also a really
Yeah.
good team, but
I mean, it's a little unfair that they're uh playing, two of the I mean, one you're playing two teams from the same division. I know that's like kind of like that
yeah,
in her division play or whatever, but to play them in back to back when like the NFC West probably has one of the most competitive
yeah,
divisions in football.
yep,
Like everyone last one of those teams, you will figure um, can beat the other any night, and
Yep.
can, you consider like they probably be in playoff contention. You have to play them back to back games.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. All right, so I'm gonna give you my top 5 power rankings as of right
Okay,
now. I'm going Bucks, Chiefs, Rams, Cardinals, and Browns. That's who I got.
I would go Chiefs, Bucks. I go Chiefs, Bucks.
Rams.
Yeah, I go Chiefs, Bucks, Rams, Seahawks, and Browns.
Okay, that's pretty similar. We just interchanged Cardinals and Seahawks. That'd be a good game because they had some good games last year. You know, like the Seahawks and the Cardinals. So I'm excited to see
Oh
those.
hell yeah, that would be a dog ass. What did they play?
I don't know. They don't play this week.
Let's see when they play. That'll be a dog ass game.
They play
On the 21st.
God, that's such a good division, bro.
It is. It's loaded. It
really
is loaded. It looks like they play on the 21st. But the Cardinals play the Rams on the 3rd.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to the San Francisco game at Arizona in a couple weekends, so I'm excited for that.
Nice.
And the night before is Fury Wilder, and I was gonna do it, but I just can't justify spending like $500 on a ticket. But I was like, man, that'd be such a legendary thing to go do. Go do Vegas for a weekend and go to a fight, man. Like, oh, I got to make that happen at some point in the next year.
Listen, YOLO, Ethan. You're young.
I know. It was literally because of the game, though. Like, I already committed to going to the Cardinals game, and that's at 1. So I'd have to get up at like 6 a.m. Sunday morning in Vegas, drive back here, which is like a 4.5-hour drive, you know, and then like go right to downtown Phoenix. And I was like, bro, I'd be dead. I can't do that.
You'd be dragging.
Yeah, I'd be sleeping in the stands, bro. Can't do it. So the next one, I guess. But oh man, because I'm only like a 4-hour drive from there now, so like I got to make that happen at some point.
Yeah,
go see a fight in Vegas, man.
That'd be dope. You got to make that happen for sure.
You got to fly out. Let's do a fight in Vegas, and we'll the Catchweight podcast will report live from.
Hey, one time, just one time.
See if we can get a little whatchamacallit, like press, get down deeper into the stadium.
Like we're part of press. What are you talking about? Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good. Don't worry about it.
A really popular podcast. All right, come on down. All right, let's get into college, bro. There's been some interesting stuff going on because you had texted me the other day when we were talking about it, and you said the topic should be, can anyone beat Bama? And last night, bro,
wow. Florida did put a scare in them. Florida definitely put a scare in them.
When they lose by 2, 3, it was like
they lost by 2. They lost by 2.
Yeah,
but like,
is Florida 10th? Where are they? Are they ranked?
Florida was I think Florida. It was a top 10 matchup. But now I think they dropped down. They are 11 now.
Oh, they already did the updates?
Yeah, they sent But so the next test is going to be on October 2nd when they play Ole Miss, but they're at home.
Yeah.
They got Ole Miss, and then the next game after that is Texas A&M, and it's at Texas A&M. So it's at college. It's at what is that, College Station or something like that? Okay. Either way, those 2 games back to back, just because Lane Kiffin his offense is potent.
Yeah.
Like they're serious, but Alabama's D is nice.
Yeah. Always, bro. Always.
So it'll be that matchup is gonna be, but I think Alabama will pull that off. Especially being at their place or whatever. So I want to see if they potentially have a line for it already. I'm assuming they probably don't, just because it's so far out right now. But yeah, like, can anybody? I don't know. LSU's not going to do them. Auburn, of course, late in the season.
Yeah,
but they just lost to Penn State. I
just don't get how these rankings work, bro. I know it's by like a point system, but like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Some of them, like even like these teams that are really good, like Ohio State, Florida, Clemson. Like if you lost a game, how are you above these teams that have won. And like I don't want to hear competition because we all know the top 10 teams played shit teams for the first couple of weeks usually too. So it's just like I don't know, man. Like,
well, no, because so you look at like Clemson lost a really tight defensive game
yeah,
when they played Georgia, right?
yeah,
So because it was a close game and they still won their other two games, I figured
good
like that
point.
kind of
And
bowled
Georgia's
into
number two,
it,
right? Yeah,
right? And then with Ohio State, them losing to Oregon again, the game was still relatively close, but they won they won their other games that they played. So I think that's what just kind of
man.
falls into
What
that as well.
you got to be
But
objective with me right now. I know you work there now, but should Michigan be above MSU right now?
why not?
Because Michigan's played no one, and MSU just beat Miami yesterday.
Michigan beat Washington. They were preseason ranked in the top 25.
Where are they now?
They're not. Neither is Miami.
Yeah, but they were like 20th yesterday.
All right. Well, I mean, it's not their fault that Washington is not ranked
Right.
anymore. Just like it's not
Bro, I
MSU's
hope
fault that
both
they're
of them
not ranked
stay
anymore.
undefeated though until they play. That'd be pretty hype.
Yeah. When do they play?
They play
In
Halloween.
a couple of weeks. Oh, and it's at Michigan State.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Michigan State's offense looks
What's his
explosive.
name? Kenny Walker. Dude is nice.
Like that offense looks explosive, and that's the thing that kind of is worrisome with Michigan. It's like our run offense looks amazing.
Uh-huh.
Like that run offense looks really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But with losing Ronnie Bell, like
Yep.
we don't have any receivers really.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know, man.
I hope they both stay undefeated until they play each other. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be dope as hell.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice ass. What's the name? And then shout out to Fresno, pulled off the upset against UCLA yesterday.
Yeah, that was wild, man. I didn't expect that. I don't think anyone in the top 10 lost,
did.
but that was a good game. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no one in the top 10 lost, but Florida was ranked in the top 10, but they just, they lost yesterday against Bama. But that was a close ass game. BYU with the win over Arizona State. With Herm Edwards. It's good to just have college football back, and just having those like the stands, just like that maze out against that Michigan had against Washington, or like that wideout that Penn State just had against Auburn. Like, just it's really cool just to kind of you go from last year where there was nobody in the fucking stands, bro. It was quiet. Stadiums and everything, and now you just get that whole atmosphere back. That I feel like that atmosphere really kind of makes sports, right? Like just having these fans and having that whole entire what's the name now. I don't know how safe it is.
Well, yeah, that's what's funny. It's because my buddy was just at the U of M game 2 weeks ago, and I was asking him. He was like, "No, there was like 110,000 people there." I was like, "Holy shit, nice, wow."
But also Michigan. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're one of the places that are requiring people to like
be vaxxed up,
have some type of like you don't have to be masked up, but like students and everything, they have to be vaccinated to be on.
That's
campus.
what I said, vaxxed up, not masked up.
Yeah. And then I think for guests or like people that are coming in from the outside, I think they may have to like have some type of proof or something showing they have a negative COVID test or they have some type of vaccination.
Gotcha.
Michigan is very making sure that they don't want any of those issues. So I would assume that's why Michigan is able to have like such a big.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, man. That's what I like. My girlfriend was just in New Orleans the other day, and she said everywhere you go, you have to have proof of vaccination or a negative test, but then you still have to wear a mask. And I'm like, I don't understand that. Like, if you have proof, like then like that should make it okay, Like, so I like that Michigan allows that, but I don't get why other places are still, requiring masks, even though they're requiring, to show proof that you don't have COVID,
Yeah, it's still like even with the vaccination, you can still catch it. Mm-hmm. It's not a cure or anything. It's something that you can still get and everything. So it's just, I think really there's just them kind of covering their bases and making sure that like they try to keep people protected in that sense.
Yep.
But yeah, man, like I'm excited just for college football to be back, and
Yeah, me too,
These
bro.
games have been really good. I think what's the big game coming up this week? Um, so yeah, Notre Dame plays Wisconsin, which should be a dog ass game, and then Texas A&M plays Arkansas.
Yep. It's like
So
State
I'll
plays
be
Nebraska. Who does Michigan play? Rutgers. So they should take care of
yeah
both of them pretty easy. And then it looks like business as usual for the top 10 teams. Georgia should slam Vanderbilt pretty bad.
yeah
Um,
Vanderbilt is trash.
yeah, Notre Dame,
That okay.
Wisconsin. That'll be a good game.
What I like it baffles me when you have schools that are in these Power 5 conferences, right? And they haven't found a way to change their trajectory with their
Uh-huh.
team. Like, take for instance, Kansas football team.
Yeah.
I can't even. How long have they just been terrible?
Yeah. Right.
Right. And you look at how well the basketball team does. And then you look at the football team and you're like, how are you guys not finding a way to kind of one create a culture, but then start to put some wins together to where you
Mm-hmm.
can be competitive? Like, and we understand that the Big 12 is probably not, it's a decent football conference, but like if you're ranking them, like
Yeah.
you would probably go SEC, Big 10, out would you go ACC or the Big 12 and Pac-12? Like, I don't know, but like,
Yeah. It's hard. I get what you're saying though, bro. And that's common with a lot of things like Duke, historically great basketball. One of you ever heard of Duke being really good in football?
well,
Alabama,
they
Alabama the other
were.
way with basketball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Well, at one point, Duke was pretty solid. They made it to some bowl, like when
yeah,
they had Daniel Jones. When they had Daniel Jones, they
yeah,
went to some bowl games that had some competitive games. It took Clemson to like I think they took them to the brink before Clemson beat them. Like they
yeah,
at some points have been competitive,
yeah,
but or you look at Alabama. Alabama even more recently. I think they won the SEC championship as far as regular season,
in
right? And
basketball.
then in basketball, so like they've had these instances where they've been pretty good.
Yeah.
But like Kansas football, like
No,
there's nothing recently
non-existent.
that you can say that like that's like so it's just really weird that teams can't find this. Like some of these teams, even if it's just like once every couple of years, like once every 5 to 6 years, they'll like have a good team, right? Where you got seniors, right? You got some talent, you got some
Yep,
player development, and then like they just they take you for a ride, and like all of a sudden they fuck around and like oh shit, like
exactly.
they're ranked, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Actually, you know what? Like,
so
shout out to the Michigan schools that they're always able to stay pretty relevant in both sports, man. That's pretty cool now that I think about it.
yeah,
Like, both,
I would say that they do consistently, and even some of the Mac schools. Every once in a while, you'll see Central pop up in there or Western or pop
yeah,
up in there, right? Like they'll even come in there every once in a while, but like some of these schools really really struggle, and that's one thing that kind of always found to be very surprising with college sports is like you have these teams that are just like historically and even still now just do not do well in certain sports, and it's really surprising.
yeah. I totally agree with you, man. That's weird, especially Kansas just being how historically great they've always been at basketball, you know? Like it's just
Yeah.
like just no priority towards football, I guess. I don't know, you know? Like you said, there's no culture there. There's no and we all know with college sports, it's like a momentum thing, right? Like you got to be good to make players go it's like, okay, someday maybe I want to go play football or basketball there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like Alabama's at a point where they probably don't even have to recruit as hard because it's like everyone that's the best in football is like, I want to go to Alabama, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's the pinnacle. So I don't know. It's all like a
Yeah.
momentum thing, and they must just not prioritize it as much.
There just doesn't seem like I feel like they just don't seem to have like these teams just don't or like you even look at Rutgers, like they just don't seem to have like that culture. Like even if you meant not say you're consistently winning games, but like you're having some player development, right? Where you're having maybe 2 to 3 guys a year going to the NFL draft, right?
Hmm.
Like you see these progression, and I think that can help. Like you may not be always winning games, but you're putting guys into the league,
Yeah.
right? And then you start to see then that can help with your recruiting, but it's not happening.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Rutgers and Maryland, when they came over to our conference, I was very much confused. Maryland's got a pretty decent basketball program all the time. Like they're always usually up there.
Mm-hmm.
But both of those, I was a lacrosse player growing up, so I always looked at those schools like those are like out east, like lacrosse schools. Those aren't even like teams that I really considered. It's just funny seeing them play
Yeah.
football against us.
Well, then you also look at like the teams in the north, as far as like schools in the northeast, right?
Yeah.
What good football teams are there over there in the northeast outside of Penn State?
Yeah. Good point. Is Penn State ranked right now?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
I think they're.
Oh, damn, they're 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just beat Auburn. But outside of that, like those teams aren't really good. And I think also too, it's like I don't know if they get the same amount of resources that some of the other schools get, right? Because you think about it, especially like in that New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, like you look in all those areas, bro. A casual fan, more times than not, are not fans of like college sports in those areas because how many professional teams they have.
Yeah.
Right. They got like 2 to 3. They got like 2 basketball teams. They got 3 hockey teams. They have 2 football teams.
Yep.
They have how many baseball teams? And I'm just talking about in those metropolitan Boston, New York City, like so all in that area, Philly, like it's all sworn. So they got more sports teams and so like these people probably not even like feel like they're really honed to like they college sports and they probably don't get those same amount of resources compared to like you look like somewhere down south where it's a damn you got to kind of like I had a friend, he grew up in Mississippi, but he wasn't a fan of. I mean, they don't have a college sports team or they don't have a professional football team.
Yeah, so Ole Miss is probably it, right?
Right, like he wasn't even a fan of Ole Miss because there's trash. So he was like a Mississippi State fan.
Gotcha.
But like his football team is the Jags.
Yeah.
Like his professional team. So it's just like those based on the region and everything, it's just really weird how things are set up that way.
That is weird, bro. Especially New York, being that's one of those areas where like I'd assume most people you talk to when you're in New York aren't actually from New York. Maybe on the outskirts, but like when you're actually like downtown and stuff like that, that's just like a huge melting pot of people that have moved from all over the world to be there, So it's not like down south schools or where we're from where it's like you grew up just like, I'm a Bama fan or a State or Michigan fan, you know what I mean? Arizona's a lot like that too. I'm starting to realize like everyone I talk to down here, like no one's from here. It's weird. I don't know what that is, but
you got those. Everybody got all those transplants down there.
Man, there's a lot of snowbirds down here, and people that are from like there's so many Midwest people down here, bro. It's kind of crazy. Like it's just and people coming over from California and stuff. It's weird because you grow up where we grew up, and like Michigan's a very homegrown place where like a lot of that's just where you're from, kind of. I don't know. And then there's areas where that's not really the case, but I can totally with that factor. And then, like you said, so many other pro teams in the New York, Boston, New Jersey area, like there's probably just not a lot of priority on college football.
No, not at all.
Who is like the best over in that region? Like I'm trying to even think like, do they even care about football over there? Like
I said, it's Penn State, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You think about it, like it's really just Penn State. That's all they have.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just goes pro, like the Eagles and whoever else.
The Eagles, the Giants. You got like the
Jets.
Not the Jets.
They look bad, bro. Again, it's one of those.
They're going to be going through they're going to go through some growing pains.
Yeah. Yes, they will.
But at least what I can appreciate about the Jets is that they have a clear vision of what they want to do. The Giants, you don't know what the fuck they want to do, bro.
No, I have
like you have absolutely no idea what their game plan is.
None.
And that's why I can have a little bit more of an appreciation for what the Jets have going on than what the Giants do, because at least the Jets seem like, okay, Sam Darnold's our guy. We're going to build around him. the Giants are like, well, we got Daniel Jones, so maybe we can figure it out. Like they don't have any. There's no game plan at all with them, bro.
Yeah, both those teams' defenses just drive me crazy, bro. I just can't even like, what's going on? I
Trash.
mean, the Giants have like Blake Martinez. He's a pretty good linebacker, but other than that, like I don't even know what's going on
Well,
over
I think
there.
I will give it. I think the Giants are definitely a better football team, or
Mm-hmm.
not football team, but defensive team. Um, but they just don't have like just. I feel like just the direction is just all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, man.
Like who do they have on the defensive side? They got Leonard Williams. He's solid.
Yeah.
Um, they got Danny Shelton from the Lions. That's funny. Um, I think they got old boy from they got Jabril Peppers, who got a
Yep.
pretty decent year last year. Um, yeah, I
Yeah, I don't
mean
know a lot
outside
of
of Blake
personnel over there.
Martinez,
Yeah.
is well, they got
Yeah.
Reggie Ragland. I'll give them that. They got Reggie Ragland. He's nice,
Yeah. I don't
but
know a lot of
other than
personnel
that,
over there, bro. I don't really pay a lot of attention to the New York teams that much.
a little sketchy,
Yeah, a little bit,
out there.
a little bit. Anything else you want to go over, my man?
No, nothing else that I need to go over.
Well, I'm gonna go cry in the bathroom because the Saints just look absolutely pathetic. And it's how did it like
Against the
how?
Panthers, bro. Like, where is this coming from?
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just update everyone on like what we're seeing right now because the Panthers are still up 17-0. Like, how do you not like you haven't scored at all, bro? Like, what? Oh,
Maybe the Panthers D is better than what we thought it was going to
it could be, man. Jeez, about to
No,
go
like,
2-0.
why is the Panthers so good, right? Like,
Yeah, Bears are beating the Bengals. Browns are smacking the Texans. Not smacking, but they're beating them. The Colts are making a game of this Rams team. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go watch that in a sec. I don't know. And then when does like the Bucks play? Oh my God, the Bucks play the fucking Falcons. It's gonna be a joke. That's gonna be an absolute joke.
That's gonna
And
be a
then
blowout.
Chiefs Ravens always sounds like a good game, but then the Chiefs the last couple of years have just smacked them every time they played. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna beat the Ravens, but I think it'll be a tight game.
yeah. I hope
The
so.
Chiefs' defense really isn't that good.
No, it's not. That's exactly why I think the Bucks are better. I don't like watching that game last week. I was like, man, I don't know who the Chiefs think they're stopping because they're not stopping anyone, bro. Like this is just
No.